Hello, it's Diane. I'm very excited with these journals that I have to share with you today. They are my version of the Traveler's Notebook style journals. I had made this one for myself, and these are all made out of Bella Grace magazines. I had two magazines, and I used the front and back covers. So I have four books. And I had shown this one. This is the one I made for myself a while ago, a couple weeks ago, I think. And someone was interested in seeing the rest of them, and so I don't know if these will be listed in my shop. If they are, I will come back on and let you know. But I am going to just go through these so the customer that was interested can see them excuse me, before she makes a decision. She said she did like this concept with the gaze with the windows, and liked the style of this one. So I used the back half of that magazine, the back cover. No, this is the front cover. This is the back cover with the Bella Grace quote on the back. This one was the cover image. Let me untie that so you can see it. Oops. I love this cover image. And since she's looking out the window, I again used the title Gaze, which I stamped with a set of Stampin' Up! Rubber stamps, a very old set. And to cover up some words that were here, I glued on this, I think it's Ephemera's Vintage Garden ticket. And there's a strip of fabric here. And there's lace along the bottom. And so we'll just go inside. There's a pocket here, which I'll have to put something in. I thought I had a tag in there. And this is a little Graphic 45, an old piece. I've had it for a long time, and it says this book belongs to. There's a piece of eyelet fabric back there. There's a little half page with a canvas ribbon fabric pocket. That's what I'm trying to say. And a little garment pin and a little key. And a couple of stamped tags. This is a beautiful image from the magazine with a vintage ticket. There's just a card adhered there, and a page from a brown and cream Edith Holden book, and I edge punched it. It's a pretty image from the magazine. I mixed and matched the pages. This page actually came from that. And then this is a piece of a 1918 ledger, and I left the date up here. It was written in pencil, but I put that in there and then put some journaling spots there. And this is stamped, lined piece of paper. And my sister had given me a collection of Tim Holtz crafting supplies for my birthday, and included was a little package of these gold borders. And I love them in this journal. So there, you'll see some of them throughout. This is a cutout from the magazine. The images in Bella Grace are so beautiful. It's a Somerset magazine. And you know they always have beautiful magazines. So there's one of the pages, and I put some green ledger for journaling on, and a little butterfly, and a strip of fabric, and a little piece of velveteen ribbon. This is some pleated craft paper, a little cutout, and a stamped journaling spot, some green ledger. And on this page, I like the image, so I wanted to leave those pretty cupcakes, like the colors. But I clipped this on, and this is a journaling page. Bella Grace always has pages for journaling, and just spaces for you to put your own thoughts. And this was, step out of your comfort zone. What are some things that make you laugh until your stomach aches, even if you feel a little self-conscious doing them? Gather them here and then see if you can somehow make doing these things a ritual. And there's a pretty image on the back of a lady holding a beautiful cupcake. So that will be a fun journaling prompt. And then a couple of cards here, just a decorative one and then a journaling spot, some ledger. And this is one of the pages of the book, but it was just writing, so I used a piece of a vintage handkerchief and stitched it on there, and then put some journaling places there and another stamped tag with some fibers in it. And this is a beautiful page with this fan. And I included this. There's lots of journaling room on this. Someone sent these to me, and I love them, and I haven't used them just because I like them, but I mean, we can't just hoard things. We have to use them, right? So there's the first one. And this is the short page, the middle, and I included this from the magazine. It says Grace Notes, a blog about life's ordinary magic. So that's an idea of something you can use this journal for, and that is to write about the grace notes in your life, the little things that make you happy, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the traditions, the whatever in your life. The small things is what makes up our life, not just the big moments. And so grace notes are those, just life's ordinary magic. And here's a little card with butterflies on it, a little ticket, and a little Kool-Aid dyed tag. And there's the center of the signature. I just decorated it with some washi tape and some more of the gold stickers. So on the pages with pictures, I left some of the pictures, some of the pages, so that it's just decorative, and you can add things. You could even write there in that space. But I did try to include journaling areas on most pages. There's some of the Jane Davenport washi tape. So here's a journaling page that I just glued onto the page. Here's a tag that I made out of fabrics, a collage of fabrics and some trims and some buttons. And I stamped the word kind on that little piece. And there's a nice fuzzy fiber there. And vintage bridge tally sheet, and I stamped on this page. This is a journaling piece I glued on there. There's some cheesecloth and this fabric with chairs on it, which is adorable, and some lace and some of that velvet ribbon. And here's the short page with that trim and a little tag with rub-ons, and then I made this tag out of an atlas page, a vintage atlas page, and it's got some cheesecloth and a little image from the book and coffee dyed paper on the back for journaling. And then on this I stitched on images from the book as a little pocket, and then I stitched this to an old appointment book page for journaling, and it says, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Mary Ann Rodmacher. And I like that quote. So that's in there. And there's the back. I just love that picture. So there's Gaze, and I'll have to go through these others more quickly. This one is called Inspire, and it has this piece that I've had for a very long time. I just never knew what to do with it, and collaged fabrics and eyelet. And on the back, to cover up, oops, oh, I glued that tag in. I'm going to have to work on getting that out. I'll do that. But I glued this fabric pocket on and some with collage on it. And this is a stamp tag, which I have to work on getting out of there. And here is another little piece of fabric and a little die cut, and this book belongs to. A little glassine bag with a little gold rub-on. A fabric tab. And this card is pinned on there with a paper clip. That's a pretty image. And in fact, a smaller version of this image made it to the cover of the last book. Fabric. You can write here, you can glue a picture up here, whatever you want to do with this book. I love this picture. And I just put a little journaling spot and then some coffee dyed muslin and a little piece of fabric. Some more Jane Davenport washi tape. Another bridge And there's the Jane Davenport washi tape on this page too. This is from a 1951 appointment book. This has stamped coffee dyed muslin and a little bit of lace across the top. Another fabric tab. This I left plain. It has some examples of, well, I would call them grace notes, like we talked about with the other book. So you'll see some of those on some of the pages. There's some on this page too. So some ideas of what you might consider grace notes in your life. This is a paint chip, and I stamped this little calendar on it, and then this is a scrap from the paper from the magazine that I put in here, and it's glued to some ledger. And this is some more of the Tim Holtz. She gave me, well, actually that gold stuff isn't Tim Holtz, but these are, and they're from the industrial stickers. And there's the center. And there's some more of those grace notes. Getting a good parking spot when the lot is full and it's minus 30 degrees outside. And another journaling prompt attached with a bull clip. Pretty image on the back. And this is the best of me. So write about what you like about yourself. Sometimes we have to look hard to find things we like about ourselves. There's some more of that 1951 appointment book. This is from the inside cover of a vintage music book. And this is a tag that I made out of a file folder. It still has a little dip there. I just stitched this printable onto this card, and it's a little pocket. And it's got a fabric tie. It's fabric on the edge of that. There's another fabric tag, flip up, and it's got collage fabric and buttons and trim, and it says love. This one has some vintage stamps on it, and this is a vintage ledger. I love this. I couldn't cover it, all those old books. And there's a fabric tag here. Tab. Some more vintage stamps and vintage ledger. Another tag with a, what do you call them? Rub-ons. And another tag made with a vintage map page and a piece of eyelet and a little image from the magazine. Some journaling here. And this is a pocket made with vintage tracing paper. It's heavier than what we have now, I think. A vintage label here, and then a couple of journaling cards. So, yeah, that's kind of stuck in there. This is called Inspire. And this one is called Choose to Shine. This is one that didn't really have an image on the front. It was just this glowy stuff, and I wasn't sure what to do with it, and then I found this image, and then I put this vintage, the 1918 ledger behind it and this scrap of paper, and I really love the way it looks. And then because it's all sparkly and she's blowing sparkly things, I chose this title, Choose to Shine. This book belongs to, would you be that serene if you had a monkey sitting on your shoulder? I wouldn't. But it's got a little bit of silver rub-on here, and some just images glued on. Oops, I didn't put the pins on these. I'll have to do that. I will put pins on these like the other ones have. This one has tracing, or vellum pocket. I don't know if you can tell, but it has a kind of a harlequin design on it. And I stitched it in 3 places so that it's 3 little pockets. So these little tags fit in there, but you can still see the pretty image behind it. This is a pocket I made a long time ago, and I love it, and I haven't wanted to put it in anything, so I used it today. I made the pocket out of double-sided paper and then glued on these die cuts and this little banner, and then I made this little tag with the Bella Grace images to put inside, and there's a little bit of that 1918 ledger, and there's journaling on the back. Journaling room. 1951 appointment book, some vintage stamps, and S&H S&H green stamps. You know they're vintage. They don't make them anymore. Some more pretty fabrics. And I like this. I left it here. My wish for you: find a method to savor the sacred golden hour and witness the magic as the sun slips to the west, and more. You can cover that up if you want to, but you can read it first. And there's some pretty images, some ledger. There's a little bit of a journaling spot there, and another fabric tab. Some of the 1918 ledger. And I left this quote on there and just glued this little journaling place on as a pocket for some tags. And this is from a vintage computation book that someone used probably in college. So there's writing on the back of this. I just used the blank side and stapled that on with some copper staples. Fabric along the edge here. This says one of a kind. This little pocket is just made from an image from the magazine. And there's a journaling card in here. Beautiful, beautiful image in the center. A guest check and a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt: "You must do the thing you think you cannot do," and a little printable. And again, the computation paper and a stapled on image from the magazine. Another beautiful image that you can cover or not as you desire. A little eyelet tab up here, and another image from the magazine, and a 1930s ledger sheet. A fabric tab here. This is a vintage gift tag. And again, another library pocket that I made a long time ago with my Cricut, and it has an image from the magazine, and then this is a graph index card that I copy dyed and then cut into the shape of a tag and put another image from the magazine. And I will put a tie in that, some fibers or seam binding or something. And here's the fabric tag in here with the collaged fabrics and journaling space. This is the 1930s ledger paper. And then just a little collage up here of a vintage bus ticket that I ordered from an Etsy seller, and a vintage gift tag, and a little piece of seam binding, and a journaling spot. And then, because you can read this too, and then cover it up if you want to, because it's called Choose to Shine, I cut this from the magazine. Consider the fact that maybe, just maybe, beauty and worth aren't found in a makeup bottle or a salon fresh hairstyle or a fabulous outfit. Maybe our sparkle comes from somewhere deeper inside, somewhere so pure and authentic and real it doesn't need gloss or polish or glitter to shine. And then this tag says, "You are my sunshine." This looks like flames or wispy smoke or something. I wasn't really sure what that image was, but it was pretty. And then there's the Bella Grace, I don't know what they call it there. I forgot what the word is, but they have that on the back of every magazine. It's a something statement. Anyway, these are the three that I am going to sell, and I have to see if the customer is interested in any of them, and I will be back to let you know which one or ones will be listed. Thank you so much for watching.